Staying home until the end, making it possible even on a budget. This presentation is for you if staying in your own home is your goal, or if you want to keep someone you love at home. Today, we're going to talk about 3 different areas. We're going to talk about technology that's going to help you stay healthy and independent. And this is really geared towards the young senior who is wanting to stay healthy and independent throughout the rest of their lives. People like myself, we want to make sure that we keep our minds sharp, our bodies as active and healthy as possible, and we want to keep moving through life and enjoying every day that we can. We're also going to talk about technology and resources to help the caregivers. Caregivers out there have a tough job. I know, I've been one, cared for my mom, then cared for my mother-in-law. It's not an easy job, and you need all the help you can get. The great thing is there's some apps, some resources, some technology that's going to make your life easier. So we want to connect you with that. Then there's other tools that are going to help family caregivers, and I'm going to touch on that as well. So I'm Kathryn Watson. For those of you who haven't met me before, I'm the founder of FindHoustonSeniorCare.com, which is a web directory designed to help give families and seniors lots of information to help them navigate the second half of their life. I'm also the founder of SeniorConference.com, the online conference that you're attending right now, or maybe you're watching a replay of it. SeniorConference.com. And I'm glad to be here today. But I've got a lot to tell you, so let's move away from me and on to you. But I hate technology. I hear this so often. I don't know how to use it, Kathryn. I hear people tell me that all the time, and I understand where they're coming from. I really do. But the good news is there is a company here in Houston that can help you. It's called bridgingapps.org. So that's bridgingapps.org, and it's written on this slide, so you can get that. They have in-person classes. They have online classes. They'll even work with you one-on-one to help you figure out how to use that new phone that your daughter gave you. They'll help you figure out what apps might help you. Maybe you're having some vision problems and you want to know, can I even use technology? And Bridging Apps can help you find the right apps that are going to help you with whatever physical or mental challenges you may be having right now. So check out Bridging Apps, because if you don't use it, you're going to lose it. And I'm talking about 3 different areas. I'm talking about the 3 keys to staying independent: staying active, eating a healthy diet, and staying social. These are the keys to staying independent. So those of you who are wanting to make sure that you stay independent as long as you can, you've got to pay attention to these 3 areas. And we're going to be talking about technology and tools and resources that can help you with these 3 keys. So let's dive in right now. And the first thing I want to talk about is socialization, because if you don't stay social, it's going to affect you in so many different ways. There's a lot of connection that has been found between a lack of socialization and dementia. It seems to bring the onset of dementia on quicker if you are not staying social. So it's really, really important. We all want to stay social to keep our minds sharp, right? So the first thing I'm going to talk about is tablets, and I love tablets. I'm talking about an iPad or an Android tablet. These are tools that you can use to stay social by having video calls with family and friends, by connecting to the internet and getting on forums or groups that you want to belong to, maybe support groups for different things, maybe groups that share a common interest. Maybe you're interested in history, for example, and you join a group that talks about history together. There's lots of different kinds of groups out there that you can join for just about anything that you might be interested in. And having a tablet allows you to do that. Now, I know some of you out there, especially some of the caregivers, are probably thinking, but this may not be safe for my loved one. And I understand what you're saying. If your loved one has the beginnings of dementia, maybe it's not going to be that safe. We don't want them browsing around on the internet, getting connected with scammers, things like that. There is an option, and it's called the GrandPad. I found this a few years back when my mother-in-law was needing a way to connect with her family and friends. And it is a wonderful tool. It's a closed system. So she had a tablet just like any other tablet. It looked like your iPad. She didn't know the difference, but it's called a GrandPad. And we set it up so that she was only connected to friends and family. Nobody else could get in there and start talking to her and try to trick her or scam her. We didn't have to worry about that. But she could text with her grandchildren. She could email people. They could send her pictures and she could send them pictures. She could take pictures with her pad, with her GrandPad. She had the ability to do that. She could listen to music. She could watch videos. She could do video calls. It really kept her connected. It's a great tool. And I love the fact that it is a closed system. So for somebody in those beginning stages of dementia, or maybe for somebody who's just not tech savvy at all, this is a really easy to use system. And the great news is if somebody's having problem, a senior is having a problem with their system, the people at GrandPad know how to help. They understand how to talk to somebody who is not tech savvy. So their tech people know how to talk real language to a senior so that they understand and they fix the problem. So it is great. I highly recommend you look at that if you have someone who has that need. The next thing on my list is called Nextdoor app. Some of you may or may have not heard of this. It's a way of connecting with people in your neighborhood. Now, there's a lot of drama that goes on Nextdoor app sometimes, but it's also a good place for seniors to connect with their close neighbors and let them know that they're there so that they can maybe get help if they need it at some time. The next one on my list is something called Amazon Echo Show. And it's similar to Google Home if you have a Google Home, but I think it's better. And I don't have one. I have the Google Home, but I really like what I've been reading about the Amazon Echo Show. Number one, it has a 360-degree rotating screen. What that means is you can call your granddaughter and she can show you her new ballet routine and you can see the whole thing because it's going to track her movements and you're going to be able to see what's going on. It is great. It's more of a feeling of being right there with the person. You can also use Alexa tools with it. Any of the Alexa tools works with the Amazon Echo Snow. Tools like My Buddy, Ask My Buddy, things like that. We're going to talk about that a little bit more later. You can make phone calls, video calls with just your voice. You can say, hey, Alexa, do a video call with Susan. And Alexa will video call Susan. It's great. It allows a senior to easily connect with people. You can connect it to a smart home, turn on lights, change the thermostat, do all kinds of things. So that's something that you definitely want to check out. The last thing on my tools for socialization has probably got some of you a little bit puzzled. You're probably wondering, what is Kathryn talking about? Car assistive tools. How is this a tool for socialization? Car assistive tools are tools designed to help people get in and out of a car with ease. And if you have experienced arthritis of any type, you know how difficult that can be sometimes. And not just arthritis, there's other diseases, other ailments that cause people to have difficulty getting in and out of their car physically. These car assistive tools will make it easy for you. By the way, at the end of this presentation, I'm going to have a link that will take you to a page on my website that has links to all of these different tools and information so you can get more information. I don't earn any money on this. I just simply put it out there to help people. So if there's another tool that you think of that I should add to this page, please let me know. I always want to keep it updated with the latest tools and apps that help people. So car assistive tools, getting back to that. How does that help with socialization, Kathryn? Well, if you can't drive, you're not going to go to that yoga class or that bridge game or that mahjong game or that gathering at your friend's house, that ice cream social she's having, or the margarita party. You're not going to attend those things. You're going to sit at home because it's just too much trouble. You might not even go to the grocery store as often as you should because it's just too much trouble. And that is going to help you. That's going to really hurt you in terms of socialization. So we want you to be able to get out and around and be around people. So get the tools you need to do that. Staying active, fit, social, and safe. So fitness trackers, number one on my list. I love fitness trackers. A lot of you probably have a fitness tracker. Fitbit and Apple are the two that seem to have the best reviews for seniors. They can monitor things like your heart rate, your sleep, your exercise. You can even connect them with a friend. And I love that feature. If you have an aging parent and you want to give them a gift, maybe for Mother's Day or Father's Day or some other time for their birthday, a fitness tracker might be a great gift. Get one for yourself that matches, and the two of you can go off on a fitness journey together. It'll help both of you. So check that out. Second thing, emergency response systems. You think it can't happen to you until it does. I've had two very good friends who had strokes. One of the gentlemen laid on the floor for 3 days before somebody found out he had had a stroke, that something had happened. The other friend wasn't as unlucky. He was only on the floor for about 12 hours. Way too long in my opinion for either of these gentlemen. And their outcomes could have been so much better had they gotten quick help. So there's Life Alert systems. Life Alert is one brand, but there's lots of different brands out there of emergency response systems. Look for the one that works for you. There's ones that work just in your house. There's ones that work wherever you are. It's really a good thing to have, especially for somebody that lives alone. It's just a smart move. You think it can't happen to you until it does. Home security. Used to be you had to go hire a big company to monitor your house, but there's lots of other more affordable options out there now. A number of years ago, we used Simply Safe for my mother-in-law. We were so impressed at the time with the technology, and it's gotten so much better since then. But they could send us alerts if something happened. They would send us alerts on the phone, and we thought that was great. So there's lots of different options out there. Check online. I've got some links that'll send you to some different places to check out some different systems out there. You can also go to Sam's or Costco. They usually have a pretty good selection of the home security systems and good prices as well. So the next thing on the list, and this is keeping your home safe so that you can stay fit and active and social, and that's keeping your home barrier free. What am I talking about there? A barrier is an inability to get to parts of your house maybe that you want to go to. So if you have a step that leads down into your kitchen, maybe, or up into your kitchen, maybe you have a sunken living room, this might not be the best situation. You may need to put some kind of a ramp so that you can get up with a wheelchair or a walker if the need arrives. And a lot of you are probably thinking, but I don't need a walker. I'm not going to need a wheelchair. I'm perfectly fine. I'm fit and healthy. You never know what tomorrow is going to bring. And the thing is too, some of your friends might need a walker or a wheelchair. And if your house is accessible, they're going to come over and visit. So you want to keep it barrier free. You don't, areas like maybe going from a bathroom into the bedroom, maybe the floors change. Maybe you have carpet in your bedroom and you have tile floors in your bathroom, and there's a little bit of a bump when you go across the threshold from one room into the other. Just a little bit of a bump, and you don't even notice it when you're walking. But when you're trying to get that wheelchair over it, or when you're trying to move that walker over it, it might be a challenge. So you're going to want to make sure that your home is barrier free. And we're going to talk about, in another slide, we're going to talk about some companies that can also help you with that. The next thing on this list is fitness online. And what that is we're talking about places like Senior Planet that you can go to online and access all kinds of exercise routines and classes to stay fit and healthy. And you'll be doing it with a group of people. So that's something that you might want to look at. It's going to be very helpful if you can't get out because the weather is just lousy. I know in Houston, we have a lot of rainy days. We may not have snow days, but we have rain days. And some days are so bad and the humidity is so high that maybe you just don't feel like getting out, but you want to stay fit, right? So you can use your fitness online. So where did you get that being strong meant you had to do everything yourself? It takes courage and strength to ask for help. So let go of your ego. Go ahead and ask for help. It's okay. Nobody is meant to navigate the world alone. We've never done it in our entire lives. We've always needed help at some point in our life. And now is no different. It doesn't mean that you're not independent anymore if you ask for help. So let's talk about some tools that can help you with that. We're going to talk about staying healthy and safe. Alexa. Again, the Amazon tools, like the Echo Snow is one of them, but they also have smaller tools that are, a lot less expensive, little small round tools that you put on your counter and you can talk to them. They don't have a video maybe, but they'll have the ability to talk. And you can ask Alexa, give me the news. Tell me what the weather is. Is it going to rain today, Alexa? You need to know if you need to bring your umbrella out. How much rain are we going to get today, Alexa? Is my street going to flood? You want to know how much rain is coming down, things like that. But you can also connect with something called Ask My Buddy. And I love Ask My Buddy. It's a way for you to get help if you need it. So if you have Ask My Buddy set up on your Alexa account, and it is free. You can buy a paid version that gives you a few more bells and whistles, but you can also use the free version of Ask My Buddy. You set up a couple of people that you want to be contacted in case of an emergency. So say something happens and you need assistance. You've fallen, maybe you woke up and for whatever reason you can't get out of bed, you're feeling really ill, you need help. You can just say, Alexa, call my buddy. I need help. And Alexa will call the person on your buddy list. So what a valuable tool that is. The next one on the list is the Ring doorbell. And I think by now, everybody in the world has probably heard of Ring doorbells. They're great because they allow you to know who's at the door when it rings before you go up to answer it. This is really good for seniors, especially. A lot of people will prey on seniors, trying to sell them things, that sort of thing, door knockers. So this allows you to screen your doorbell, who's at the front door. The next thing is for people who have diabetes. Diabetes is a disease that is very challenging. It can cause so many complications. It can affect your heart. It can affect your mind. It can cause problems with your eyes, your limbs. I mean, it can just go on and on. So managing your diabetes is of utmost importance if you have diabetes. There's an app called Diabetes M. And again, it's going to be at the end of this presentation, there's going to be a link that will take you to a page that will have the way to get that information about Diabetes M. What it does is it helps you keep your diabetes under control by tracking your food intake, logging your values, and sending those reports to your doctor so that he can keep an eye on what's going on with you. Very, very valuable tool. It can also send reports to other people, maybe a caregiver, maybe you have a geriatric or life care manager that helps you. They can track it through this app. So everything has, HIPAA certification and values, so you don't have to worry about anybody getting your information. It's very secure. The next thing I want to talk about is kitchen safety. A lot of people, when they think of falls and accidents, they think of the bathroom, right? Yeah, you've got slippery floors, people fall, they hurt themselves, but the kitchen can also be a big problem. So one of the reasons the kitchen is a big problem is seniors are trying to reach up into those higher cabinets or way into the back of a cabinet. They lose their balance and they fall. Or maybe they accidentally push something else out of the cabinet. It falls and hits them in the head. So there's lots of different things that can happen in the kitchen. We want to make the kitchen as accessible and as easy to navigate as possible. And in the next slide, we're going to talk about some companies, or 2 slides from now, we're going to talk about some companies that can help you make sure that your home is a little safer. And it's going to be able to be set up in a way that you're able to get to the things that you need to get to. So let's talk about some resources and tools that caregivers in particular need. And one of the things that I hear from caregivers time and time again is, I'm worried about mom not taking her medication properly. And that is a big concern, because if you're on blood pressure medicine or diabetes medicine, you've got to take it at the right time. It's very, very important. You don't want to skip a day. You don't want to double dose because you forgot whether you took your pill or not. And let's face it, everybody forgets. If you're only taking vitamins out there, you probably have forgotten, did I take them today or not? It's important with medications. So there's some great apps out there. MedMinder app and MedSafe app are 2 of the most popular ones out there, but there's lots of other ones. There's also some medication dispenser tools. So they're containers that you put the medications in. It'll beep when it's time to take the medication and open up only to that medication. And that's a great tool to have. There are some limitations on that. I'm going to talk about that in the next slide. But it's a great tool to use. All of these are great tools. Making the home accessible. We talked about ramps. We talked about threshold ramps. But there's also stair lifts, door widening. If you can't get the wheelchair or the scooter or the walker into the doorway, through the doorway, you're going to be stuck. You're going to have a problem. You've got to be able to access whatever room it is that you want to access in your house. Tubs, changing your tub out into a shower is not as complicated and as expensive as a process as you think it might be. There are some options that do not cost that much that can make that transition for you so that it becomes easy again. You can also use things like transfer benches and things like that. I personally did not like the transfer benches, but that's a personal preference. So I know we tried them with my mother-in-law. We found them to be difficult to use. So we ended up getting the tub changed into a shower. It was much easier and it wasn't that expensive. The next thing on the list is medical record management tools. I love this concept. It's so important to have the right medical records, especially if you have somebody that has a lot of medications, they have multiple doctors, they have multiple issues, health issues. You want to have all that information and you want to have it quickly able to be accessed by any health professional that needs it. Share it with first responders, physicians, family members. There's some great tools for this. Again, the link that I send you to on my website will have all that information for you. So you can go right to those websites and get more information. The last tool on here for caregivers, I love these. Lots of Helping Hands and Caring Bridge are just, it makes my heart sing. These companies have been set up. They're no charge at all to the caregivers, and they allow you to set up a website or a web page where people can come in and they can volunteer for things you need help with. So instead of having to call around and ask people for help or not knowing what to say when somebody says, how can I help? You can send them to this website and you can list things like, we need dinner Friday night. Can somebody fix dinner? I need somebody to help Dad get to the doctor's office on Thursday afternoon. You can put whatever task it is that you need help with on that page and people can go in and sign up. I'm bringing lunch on Thursdays. I'm going to come by and stay with Dad on Tuesdays so that the caregiver can go to yoga class. Whatever it is that you need can be there. There's also eCare 21, and that's a mobile platform that links friends, family, caregivers, care team members, professionals for a patient-centered model of care. And it connects the wearables, the things like the Fitbits or the Apple Watches that I was talking about. So it's going to help you keep an eye on what's really going on physically with your loved one. And other resources and tools for caregivers that are out there. Okay, we talked in a couple of slides back about medication reminders, medication apps, things like that. We also talked about a dispenser where you can line up the medications maybe for a week or 2 weeks, and it only opens to that little slot so that the senior knows to take that medication, and it beeps to let them know. Great. Got one for my mother-in-law, thought that was going to solve the problem. Guess what? she didn't want to take her medication. So she would, when it beeped, she would dump the pills out on the counter. I came over one day and I hadn't been there for a couple of days and there were all these pills on the counter. Oh my word, scared me to death. So I said, okay, we've got to do something else. So a home care company was brought in. Now they can't physically give your loved one the medication. By law, they can't do that, but they can encourage them. So the home care company, when they would come in and they would notice if she had dumped the pills out on the counter, and they'd say, "Oh, Miss Pat, your pills are on the counter. Do you want me to get you some juice so you can take these?" And they would get her a glass of juice and bring the pills to her, and she would be able to take them. So that is how services and technology work together. And I could give you a million other ways that services like home care, home health, and hospice care are resources that you really need to have on hand. If you're a caregiver, you need every tool in your toolbox. You need the services, you need the resources, and you need the technology. So let's combine them to make for a great experience. So home care, home health, and hospice are three resources. Home care is going to be a fee-based service. Home health and hospice, you're going to need a doctor's order to get these two services, but they're great services and you're going to want to explore that option. The next thing is caregiver support groups. The great news is for those of you who don't really want to show up at a meeting, you aren't comfortable with that, maybe you just feel embarrassed or just uncomfortable with that situation, you can go online now and join caregiver groups. You can kind of be incognito. You don't even have to put your video up if you don't want to. So you can join these caregiver groups online. You can join them in person, but I highly, highly recommend that you join. And one of the main reasons is you're going to get exposed to so many resources and tools that I haven't even touched on. There's so much out there, and other caregivers will know what worked for them, and they'll be able to share that information with you. You can hire a chef now, and it's not as expensive as you used to think it was. It sounds like a big luxury thing, but there is a company called Chefs for Seniors now in Houston. They're great. This is a task you may want to hire out if you're a caregiver and maybe you're working full time and trying to take care of mom's nutritional needs as well. It's a lot on your plate. Check into the Chefs for Seniors. Again, that link is on my website. Life care managers, professionals who can manage the day-to-day needs of a senior. This is a great tool to have, a great resource rather to have. Life care manager can do an assessment of your loved one and help you figure out, okay, what's the next step? Can they stay in their home? Do I need to move them somewhere? What is the next step? What do I need to do now? They can help work with healthcare professionals to make sure that your loved one is getting the best care possible and that they have everything they need. Okay, I ran through this really quickly because I had so much information to give you. This is where to find the resources. So you can go to the webpage, findhoustonseniorcare.com/technology-tools. And that's going to be able to give you all of the information we talked about and probably more because I'm continually adding to that page when I find new resources that are helpful. Again, I hope that this has been helpful today. I will be, if you're watching this live and you're in the live conference, I will be doing an Ask conversation circle where you can come in and ask questions, talk about different things regarding these resources. So join me if you're watching this live. If you are watching it afterwards, reach out to the website and get more information. But get the tools, get the resources that you need You don't have to do it all, whether you're a caregiver or a senior wanting to live as independently as possible. You need help. All right, everybody. Hope you have a great